What is up, my friends? And you are very welcome along to what will be the last news roundup of 2025. Happy New Year to you all if I don't see you, because the good news is I am returning to live action tonight. I'll be here from 10 p.m. If you'd like to come and ring in the new year with me, we'll be here from about 10 till about midnight. Until then, I've got lots of news to go through. Mr. Crosby was here this morning taking you through some of it. I've got a little bit more, including a little bit from our former throw-in coach. We'll talk about a centre-back that Liverpool are looking at seriously. We'll ask, is Mohamed Salah really going to have a potential 6-month loan deal? That and lots more to come over the next few minutes. As always, I want to know your thoughts, so do let me know in the comment section. Drop a like on the video if you enjoy it, but most importantly, thank you all dearly for the kind messages and all the support over the 3 days that I've had to take off recently from live content. I do feel like I'm finally getting back to myself, and we'll celebrate the new year tonight together if indeed you haven't already got plans. For now, let's get cracking. So, Mr. Gronkmark, the former throwing coach for Liverpool, has said Liverpool are always welcome to call me. The only way I wouldn't say yes to Liverpool is if I were already coaching another top Premier League team that is actually a competitor. Now, he is doing a little bit of work with Brentford, but he said, of course, with the history and with my connection with the fans and the people who are writing to me every day on social media, thanking me for my time with the team, I'd say yes in most cases. So he's certainly open to a move back to Liverpool if indeed Arne Slot would like to use his services going forward. John Aldridge has been doing his monthly, or weekly piece, I'm not sure which one it is, a regular piece, let's go with that, for the Echo, and one or two parts of it really stood out to me. I like the piece he wrote about Jeremy Frimpong, so I'm going to read some of that out to you now. He said, Jeremy Frimpong is the only one in our side with blistering pace. Going forward, he did really well against Wolves. We're not really seeing him tested that much defensively, certainly not at the weekend, but he's come back after injury and set up a couple of goals. He's starting to show us exactly what he can offer. When you go to tricky away games while Salah is out, you can solidify the right-hand side by playing him in front of Conor Bradley or Joe Gomez. He'll overlap and beat his man down the line before getting the ball in, like he did for Ryan Gravenberch's goal. It's effective. Once he's past you, you won't catch him. And those of you who's watched my preview coming up for the Leeds game, that is exactly what I've done in my prediction. I have put Conor Bradley at right back with Jeremy Frimpong on the right side of that midfield for exactly the reasons that Aldo was mentioning. Now, Liverpool have been linked with a centre-back, and this is a link that I think we should keep an eye on, whether it be for January or a little bit longer. This is a name worth keeping in your thoughts, and that is, of course, Joel Ordoñez of Club Brugge. I've mentioned him many times to you guys, but reports are starting to come out now more and more to suggest that Liverpool are not only interested, but are front runners for the player. So this coming out of a piece over in South America said Liverpool are currently the front runner to sign Joel Ordoñez during the winter transfer window. Chelsea are said to have withdrawn from negotiations, despite the Ecuador international prioritising a move to them at one stage. Inter, however, are also reportedly monitoring the player situation at Club Brugge closely. Now, I understand from the people that I've spoken to that this is a name worth keeping an eye on. He's 21 years of age. He came through at Independiente del Valle, which is the same side over in Ecuador that brought through the likes of Willian Pacho, Piero Hincapié, and of course more recently and more famously Moise Caicedo. So coming from a good football club with a good youth production line, 21 years of age, Champions League experience already with Club Brugge, and most importantly, a price tag of potentially just £30 million. Another name worth keeping an eye on, according to at least Stephen Warnock, former Liverpool player, is Maxence Lacroix, or Mark Gay, of course, of Crystal Palace. This is what Stephen Warnock's had to say. I think Mark Gay will be a really good replacement. What you get from him is leadership and a player who's helped on an international level. He's consistently been an outstanding player for England whenever he's been called up. He's very comfortable on the ball. He's not the tallest, but he uses his physicality to outweigh his lack of height. The way he reads the game is outstanding. I really like Maxime Lacroix from Crystal Palace as well. I think he's a sensational player. What he has is an immense pace, and what allows you to do is go man for man with Van Dijk and Lacroix at the back. He has the physicality as well. I think they're both signed together, Gay or Lacroix. They would be very happy with either choice. So it looks like we really are interested in both of the centre-backs at Crystal Palace. But what we do know is Mark Gay's contract there is up at the end of the season. And time again, where I've been speaking to people, it looks more unlikely that Liverpool try to pursue a move for Mark Gay in January unless something changes. But I do still firmly believe you will see Mark Gay in the Liverpool shirt at some point. Now, Aldo also said it's a no-brainer to bring back Harvey Elliott. And again, I couldn't agree with John Aldridge more on this one. He said it's a no-brainer with Harvey Elliott. He's not playing at Aston Villa, so bring him back. The crowd love him. At his age, he's more of an impact player. When he comes on, he does well. It's a waste of talent at Villa. We need numbers. We need players who can change a game, and he can. It's a no-brainer. If Arna doesn't fancy him, he doesn't come into the equation. But personally, I think it's a no-brainer to get us back into the squad, what he would bring to us, especially when we need more numbers. Now, this is a point in the video I'm going to pause for a second. Yesterday, I did the piece about Aaron Briggs, and a lot of people got very angry at me in the comments, and perhaps I didn't explain myself well, or perhaps people just strongly disagree with me. But the reason I'm saying that I think Arna threw him under the bus isn't because I have a vendetta against Arna like some people believe is. I believe in structure. And I believe at the top of that structure is the head coach. And every coach underneath that coach is responsibility of the head coach. Now, Aaron Briggs at the time wasn't brought in as a set-piece coach. He was brought in to do something else and promoted to the role. We're going to have more on who Arna actually wanted in a moment, but that was my point yesterday. It wasn't just me trying to take a cheap dig at Arna, because believe this or not, the people who watch the channel regularly know two things about me. One, I defended Arna incessantly every time someone said his league title was actually Klopp's. I wanted him to come into the club, but I haven't been happy with the performances at times this season. I'm always open to being won back around, and I have no agenda against anybody, despite what people may believe. I just have very high standards. Anywho, let's move on, because I want to talk about a few other bits and pieces. We brought this news to you the other day. James Pearce has now confirmed it. James McConnell is set to return to Liverpool after all parties agreed to cut his loan short at Ajax. No decision expected on whether he'll be loaned out again until later in the January window. Ownbeck, who was out injured, will also be returning on loan from Derby. Lewis Bowyer writes that Will Wright has been back in full training for 2 weeks and has been training with the first team a fair bit. So keep an eye on that situation as well, because we know Will Wright was the youngster brought in from Salford, who Arsenal and others tried to come in and get as well, but Liverpool managed to get it done. So, Arne Slot speaking of whether he thinks he'll see more from Liverpool signings as the season continues, had this to say: for sure, but I think that's not only for the new players we brought in. I think if you bring in a lot of players and a lot of players are gone, then usually, at least if I do my job a bit well, you'll see them playing better football the more they play together, which is common sense, right? And that is exactly what we hope does happen as the season goes on, that everybody, new players, old players, all build those relationships. I really do think we're starting to see that down the left-hand side with Kirkes, with Curtis Jones, with Florian Wirtz. I think that relationship, and then Dominic Szoboszlai as well, is getting better. So a couple of bits and pieces here about Federico Chiesa. Firstly, Fabrizio Romano has said Juventus are internally considering Federico Chiesa, but people close to the player expect Liverpool not to be willing to release him in January. The manager, speaking a little bit about Isak, said it'll be a long time before we see him again. Now, Theo Squires of the Echo has given a bit more information on why Aaron Briggs was the set-piece coach and not who Arne initially wanted, and according to Theo, this is why. Arne Slot was seemingly blocked from hiring his first choice as Liverpool's set-piece coach after taking over from Jurgen Klopp in the summer of 2024, with Etienne Reinen unable to be hired due to a work permit issue. So there you are, you can take what you like from that one. And finally, before I finish up, ladies and gentlemen, that crazy Mohamed Salah link that I mentioned at the start. So the chances of an exit coming in January for Mohamed Salah remain extremely slim, but that's not stopping reports in Italy claiming that Roma's hierarchy are pushing for a 6-month loan return for the former star. Roma outlet La Repubblica states that the Serie A team are toying with the idea of a sensational return for the Egyptian, with work going on behind the scenes to try and make the shock move happen. Any move is considered a dream given the current £400,000 a week salary the 33-year-old earns, with only Saudi Pro League clubs capable of matching or upping those sorts of numbers. The figure is way out of Roma's reach, even if a price could be agreed, and there is mention Salah has not been promised to boss Gian Piero Gasparini. So that is kind of where we're at with everything for now, ladies and gentlemen. I will be here, like I said, at 10 o'clock tonight. I hope you can join me. As always, thank you for your support. If you've enjoyed this video, please do hit that like button. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well. And I will catch you guys tonight for the Late Night Agenda New Year's Eve special. Until then, much love.